Hi, in this video I would like to tell you another important thing about the so-called reality to help you deal with all your fears, feelings, anxieties and stresses and other challenges of life. Let's look at the reality. What really is reality? The fact is that we don't know and we will never know. First of all, there are certain limitations. There are limitations of our senses. We only have 5 senses, and each of those senses has its own limitations. And since we get to know the world around us through our senses, we can only see, feel, hear, smell, whatever our senses allow us to do. Nothing else. So that's the first limitation. Second limitation is our understanding of what is happening. And the third limitation is the filtering. Our brain filters, some people say around 90% or even more, of all the information that comes to us through our senses, and our brain filters that. So first of all, we are limited by the number of senses, by the capacity of our senses, and then of that information, 90% is removed from our conscious mind. Although some people claim that everything goes to subconscious mind, but at least in our conscious mind 90% is removed. And then on top of that, there is our understanding of what's happening and our interpretation of what's happening. So the world as we see is nothing else than a perception of the world. So everybody actually sees a different world and lives in a different world. Now, also scientists have examined the world in a macroscopic scale. So they looked at atoms and inside atoms, and they discovered that we cannot see the reality on a very small scale, because when we want to observe it, the mere fact of observing changes the reality. So the reality on a macroscopic scale, so actually it's not a macroscopic, it's I don't remember, it's a nanoscopic, I don't know the proper term. But on a subatomic level, the reality is completely unpredictable. It's just a soup of probabilities, not really something that we can touch or examine. So the reality is, we don't know what it is, simply. We don't know what it is. And whatever you see around you, feel, hear, it's just your own interpretation of what's happening there. So you don't really see reality, you only see a map of reality. Yeah, so you have a map, and like you have a map of a city or the whole country, and it's just a representation of that city, and what you see around, hear, feel, it's just a representation of reality. It's not really everything. It's not the reality itself. So let's look at the model. I have learned from somebody a very interesting model of the reality. We can call it 3-layer reality or 3 levels of reality model. The name doesn't matter really. So let's see. What's the first level? The first level would be, or the first layer is what really is in reality, as we know, it's a soup of particles, nothing else. So the air around me, my body, skin, nails, bones, eyes, everything these are particles of various things, of atoms, and atoms are made of some other particles, and they are closely connected. So there's no actually barrier or distance between my skin and the air around me. They're connected. Even if I move my hand very fast, it's still connected to the air around it. The particles that create my skin are connected to the particles of air, and so on and so on. So it's one big soup. Everything's connected with each other. So that's the first layer. So in reality, what is happening, whatever is happening, it's always just a movement of particles, vibration, movement, whatever way you want to call it or describe it. It's nothing else, just a soup of particles moving around in various directions. That would be one level that we can easily comprehend. What would be the second level or the second layer? If we put a mind into the reality, like for example our human mind, my mind, your mind, somebody else's mind, we can use that mind to actually differentiate certain objects. So we can create concepts of something, let's say a concept of a tree. Yeah, somebody comes to the reality, a mind, and examines the tree and decides, okay, this is an object, we call it a tree. This is another object, we call it a finger, or human body, or water, or what else there can be, anything, yeah? We can also establish concepts of movement. So something is moving this way, that way, there is some movement, yeah? If I speak, what is happening? My mouth is moving, my body is moving, the air is moving, and the air is vibrating, and this vibration is moved through the air to you through the camera, in this case, but if you were in the room, that would be directly through the air, then back to your ears for vibration. So there is movement, yeah? So we have objects and we have movement, yeah? Nothing else. Everything that's happening in reality in our second layer is objects moving. Are you following me? You probably are thinking where I'm going with it. Don't worry. I'll explain that to you in a moment. So first layer, soup of particles. Second layer, objects, and those objects are moving, interacting with each other. Now let's go to the third layer. The third layer is when a mind starts to put interpretation on what is happening, really. So let's say in reality what we have for example something falling onto something else and nothing else, but then the mind comes and says, oh my god, it's danger, or a tree fell on somebody was killed by a tree, you know, and so on and so on. So more concepts and more complicated concepts are introduced, like killing, offending, being in danger, having fear, or being joyous, you know. On the second layer, what is happening is just somebody is moving, jumping, creating some movement. And on the third layer, the mind will add some other things, like, oh, this person is joyous, there is a lot of joy or happiness, and so on and so on. So if you, let's say we have a situation and somebody says, oh, he offended me, how could he? So on the third layer, for this person, it occurs, the reality occurs to this person as somebody offended this person. Now what really happened is somebody said something, and this person decided that this is something that they will make them offended. Because think about this, why do some people get offended by something and others don't? It's simply a matter of choice. I decide that I feel offended, or I decide that I don't feel offended. But people are so hung up on this concept that they think that there is no choice. But there is a choice. If I tell you, you stupid idiot, you can just think, well, you are stupid, I don't care. I don't care what you say, because you are stupid yourself. Or you can go, how could you? Oh my god, nobody else has called me like this. Oh, this is unacceptable. You know, this is your choice. Although it's programmed deeply, and people think that this is not choice, well, if it's really deeply inside programmed in you, then you could argue that it's not your choice. But it's your choice to change the programming and look at the things in a different way. If I ignore the programming, yeah, I will keep saying, yeah, it's not my choice, I am programmed to behave like this. But in reality, I have a choice to change my program and not choose to be offended by anything, or not choose to run away, or not choose to do whatever and just do something else. And so that's the third layer of reality and the aspect of third layer. So let's quickly summarize. Layer 1, soup of particles interacting with each other. That's what is really happening in reality, at least in a way that's comprehensible for humans. Other things might be more difficult to understand, so let's focus on this 3-layer model. So layer 1, particles moving. Layer 2, a mind comes and creates objects and movement, concepts of movements, and maybe some kind of interaction. Layer 3, the mind creates concepts that don't really exist. These are abstract concepts like dying, killing somebody, offending, defending, attacking, posing, jumping, anything that we can think of. So these, if you think about this, if you look at the reality like this, you can see that clearly nothing is fixed, everything is fuzzy, because for some people this is white, for some other people it will be gray, or grayish, for other people it will be yellowish, and so on and so on. So there is no universal thing like offending somebody, there is no universal thing like, I don't know, threatening, because what is a threat for some people might be nothing at all for others. And therefore, if you look at the world in this way, you will realize that everything that's happening to you, it's not really happening. It's just you making a story using those concepts that you either invented yourself or you were given by society through the language that you speak. Yeah? So now I'm speaking to you in English, which is a very rich language. So we've got lots of concepts just because you speak the language, and you use those concepts to build stories around you. And by building those stories, you can either create heaven for yourself by creating various beliefs like, oh, I'm great, people think very good things about me, or you can create hell. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I've lost my job, my girlfriend broke up with me, what's gonna happen to me? You know, these are all stories. Well, they are real in a way, but the reality is just, you know, in your mind, and you can easily change it. And I will show you how. I will give you the tools in my next videos. I'll show you how to do it, how to get rid of all those stories from your mind. It takes practice, again, long time, till the end of your life. The longer you practice, the better, and you will see your life change for very good. Like mine has changed. It's still not as good as I would like to be, but it's getting pretty good now. So I do recommend you actually spend some time and follow my advice. So I'll see you in the next video.